Hi all, very good afternoon and welcome to the webinar. Today's webinar topic is run manual app test 3x faster without losing an eye on cost. I'm Nilesh. I head the pre-sales at pCloudy. The webinar is scheduled for 1 hour and typically I'll be covering the topic in next 45 to 50 minutes. Last 10 to 15 minutes will be available for Q&A. I'm sure there will be certain questions during the webinar. So if you have any such questions, please use the GoToWebinar window to raise your questions, and I'll try to help with the answers towards the end of the webinar. So yeah, let's move on to the agenda for today's webinar. So the agenda for today's webinar is we'll quickly see the brief introduction about pCloudy. We'll see the pCloudy use cases where all pCloudy can be used in the product development lifecycle typically. We'll see the automation testing, which is pretty much on the rise nowadays. We'll also see the significance of manual testing, and towards the end we'll see a feature called follow me, which will typically cover the 3x speed of your auto manual testing, and which will be followed by the Q&A session as we have just discussed. So next slide is about saying the brief about pCloudy. So I'm not very sure how many of you are already seen pCloudy or using pCloudy, but for the benefit of all, let's quickly see what exactly pCloudy is all about. So pCloudy is a mobile device cloud test platform. You can access the real devices from this platform over any standard browser, and take the charge of the complete device and do either manual testing, or you can also execute test automation test cases on this platform. We have a host of devices with different OS and hardware configurations. So typically, if you see in this platform, you can test native applications, hybrid applications, mobile web applications, and WPA applications, the PWA applications. So basically, all kind of mobile applications you can actually test on this platform. While doing testing of your applications on this, you can also get the device analytics. You can do manual testing, as I have explained earlier. You can also do the test automations on this platform, and you can also get exposure to in-field UX testing if you want to do that as a part of your application development lifecycle. Now, this particular platform can be accessed by the test engineers through a web interface. So you can see here, we are showing you the web interface. From here, you can actually access the portal and access the devices internally, and then start using it for the testing. At the same time, the same platform can be accessed by the developers using Android Studio or Xcode. So we do have plugins, so they can actually use it from their IDEs to connect to the device, do the debugging, and use these devices as if the devices are connected to their local system. So typically, if you see, there are three offerings which we have. One is public cloud. The demonstration which we'll be seeing today is from the public cloud. And if you see the capabilities of public cloud, we have 500 plus real devices available on the cloud. We have devices with real operator SIEMs, so you can do the testing with the networks. And we do have 4 different locations where our devices are available. We have data centers in India, US, Philippines, and Australia. So typically, you can access any device from any location remotely from your local browser and do the testing on those devices. So that's what typically a public cloud covers. Now, the second offering which we have is basically, we call it as a private cloud, which is again an extension of the public cloud. So basically, we create an instance of a cloud in our data center. We maintain the cloud, we maintain the devices. You just need to let us know what devices you want, and those devices will be dedicatedly given to a specific team, and only the team members from that particular organization can access those devices. So it's kind of a private cloud for the for any specific organization. The third offering which we have here is basically the on-premise cloud. So in on-premise, we will come with our cloud infrastructure in any specific organization. We'll set up that cloud within their organization behind their firewall, and they can just connect their devices. If they have already invested in the devices, they can leverage those devices to connect to this uh, cloud and create their own test labs, which can be accessed internally or within their different teams, which are actually located in different locations. And they can also leverage all the features which we are providing in our cloud, which will help them expedite their testing and bring in a lot of value to their normal functional testing or automation testing. So this is the brief about pCloudy. I'm not very sure how many of you have already seen this or used pCloudy, but in this webinar, I'll try to cover a very minimal part of accessing a device and connecting a device, and doing some minimal testing on that, so you'll get a better feel. So moving on to the next slide, which is basically we'll see where the use case where pCloudy can be fit in. So I just tried to create a small diagram which is depicting the minimal phases of a software application development life cycle. So this phases, whatever I have shown is for the simplicity, but from organization to organization it will vary. So let's see what exactly we have here, right? So the first track here is the developer track. So if I just open this, so this is the first track which we call developers track, wherein typically the developers will create the code, they'll create the application or the web app, whatever they are working on, and then they'll push it to the build. And once it is done, typically we expect that it should be uh, running the automated test cases for the unit tests. And once that is done, developers can take a call whether to push it for the QA team to do the further testing. So pCloudy, if you see, pCloudy is a better fitment at this stage, because you can have your own automated unit test cases, and you can use pCloudy to run your test cases on those devices. At the same time, isn't it good if we get the AI-based automated health checkup done for your application? So typically, this is not a traditional practice we have seen in the industry, but if you're using pCloudy, pCloudy can be used at this stage, even to get the health check done in an automated way using pCloudy with pCloudy's software bots. So pCloudy can be used here. Now, once these two gates are passed, or either the first gate is passed, uh, developers can take a call to push their builds for further testing to the quality teams, QA teams, and QA teams will accept this build, and typically they will first try to do the testing around the new features which they have developed on the real devices. And yes, pCloudy comes here too. So QA teams can use pCloudy at this stage. The next is, of course, automated regression tests. So if the product is little stable, and we are actually doing the maintenance or bringing in a lot of new features, and you have a lot of regression tests, you can actually use pCloudy to execute those on real devices parallelly. Once these executions are passed, when QA team says it is passed, and the user acceptance is done, it can actually get released in the market. So we have we rather propose, before getting it to the user's hand, or before it reaches to the market, it should be tested with real live crowd testing. So we do have capability at pCloudy, wherein uh, you know the real testers can test your application on the real devices and get the real feedback from the user, and then of course we can actually release it to the market. So this is how the typical use cases for pCloudy we are seeing in the life cycle development of an application. So when it comes to testing, we are seeing that automation testing is really on the rise. I mean, every organization is actually trying to push their testing teams to automate each and every test case so that they can get some benefits out of that. So let's see why every organization is actually pushing the test cases to be automated. What are the advantages they are going to get out of that? So if you see the picture which I'm going to show you now, it says uh, the need for quality at speed. If you want to do that, if that's your need, then automation is the key, because you can um, functionally test prior to the release. You can make sure that the features and the functionalities work fine before it is released in the market. Regression test for recurrently released applications. So large scale apps with frequent releases needs to be regressed before every release to ensure that all the features remain intact with the recent code changes. So if that's the case, then of course automation is the only way to go ahead. It can make the enterprise mobility testing very effective, error free, and accelerate the time to market by using the automation. So that's one of the key outcome or the advantage of automation testing here. It not only reduces the manual errors but increases the test coverage multifolds. So if you actually write it in a proper way, if you leverage all the features for the automation, then you can actually accelerate time to market by getting the test coverage for most of the code there. Of course, it will be free of manual errors. And last but not the least, it increases the test coverages that we have discussed. So because of all these points, automation is given a very prime importance, and all the organizations are focusing to automate more number of test cases. That's what we are seeing it now. When all the organizations are going towards the automation testing and everybody is focusing to increase their market share, increase their test coverage by doing automation, then why we are still talking about manual testing? Why manual testing is still so important? So that's what something which we are going to see it in this slide. What is the importance of manual testing? Why manual testing is so important? So I'll quickly you know uh, take all the points listed here so we can talk about all these things. So these are some of the points which we have seen, because of which the manual testing is of prime importance. First and the foremost is automated application testing saves time with repetitive jobs, that we all know. So we can actually you know do the manual testing um, in much better way. Now we can actually concentrate more on the manual testing to cover rest of the other things which are really difficult to cover through automation testing. You have certain test cases which you have automated right now. Most of the test cases, let's say 90% or 95% test cases you have automated, those are anyways running in the background. Now manual testers can actually sit, brainstorm, and create creative use cases. What could be the new use cases which we a user can think of? So you can keep on looking into that, keep creating new use cases which will probably touch upon the corner use cases, or certain use cases which we have not thought of earlier, or which is really difficult to automate. Those kind of testing we can actually concentrate on and try to find real good issues out of that. Visual verification. Now visual verification is something which of course anyone can say that it's very difficult to have the manual intelligence to an automation system, right? So automation systems will not understand or will not be able to give the proper visual verification as a human can give. So visual verifications and usability testing, these are the two important areas where manual testing can be done rigorously, and a lot of new defects can be found. Now when we are talking about usability testing, you know uh, if you write a test case in an automated way to see if that I'm clicking on the button and if it gets clicked or not, that test case might be passed while you are running an automation. But in reality, in the real case scenario, when a user is using it, may fail, maybe because the button size which is displayed on a specific phone is very small, maybe the area, the touch area on the button is very small, so I'm not able to touch that button properly. Such kind of usability issues and visual verifications can be handled in manual testing in the much better way. So these are the two prime important areas there. Feature testing, yes. So during the situations when there are runtime changes in the functionality of the some of the modules, either as an enhancement or behavior change of the module, manual testings are quicker to perform, because you don't have enough time to create those cases in the automated way. So it's better to do it manually, understand the requirements, and finish it quickly. So you get the feedback loop while doing manual testing for in such kind of scenarios is very small. So once that feature is stable, and your automation testing team after that can start writing the automation test cases for that. But during this period, or during this time, I believe manual testing is the key. Exploratory testing, of course, when we are having enough time, when the automation is running in parallel, we can actually try for the corner cases, the exploratory testing, or we can call it an ad hoc testing. So these are the test cases, corner test case scenarios, or something which will actually find very new and creative defects. So yeah, exploratory testing is very important for the manual testing. And of course the last one is negative testing. So it can be done more rigorously via manual testing as compared to the automation testing, and on the fly we can actually create more such scenarios and do the testing. So these are some of the key points because of which manual testing is still of prime importance, though the entire industry is moving towards the automation testing. So let's move on to the next slide to see what is a typical test scenario. What happens today if we are doing manual testing? So how many different ways we can do the manual testing with the real device? Let's see that. So we have the very first method is, of course, you can do the manual testing on a real devices with the phone in hand, which is the case in most of the industry. So that's one way of doing it. The second way is either you can connect the device to your computer and do the testing through either computer or through on the real physical device manually. The third way of doing or achieving this is basically uh, connecting to a real device on cloud-based platforms like pCloudy. So you can actually connect to any remote device cloud platform, acquire a device, and do the testing. So this is another way of looking at it. Have we noticed what is common in these scenarios? The common factor among all these methods is, whatever medium you choose in this for the testing, manual testing, one test engineer can test on one device at a time, right? So if I have a test suite which I need to execute, or the test cases which I have to execute on a specific device, it takes 1 hour. And if I have to do it on three different devices, I'll end up spending close to 3 hours of my testing efforts. And it's very straightforward, and the entire industry is aware of that. So the question here is, what if you can perform manual tests on multiple devices together? Do you really think that it is possible that I'm testing, the same engineer is testing at the same time on multiple devices? Is it possible? Is it a dream, or is it the reality? Right? So this is the webinar is all about 3x faster. When I'm saying 3x faster, you can make the manual application test 3x faster. Means you can test it once, and you are saving almost 200% of your efforts on time, without really testing on rest of the two devices. Is it something which is really fascinating now? So let's see how it can be done, or it can be achieved. So at pCloudy we have a feature called follow me. So uh, I'm going to explain about follow me in the upcoming slide, or the next slide after this. So let's see what exactly follow me is all about. Yeah. So by introducing this feature at pCloudy, we have actually changed the way manual testing can be done on any application testing. Okay, it's of course the one of the its kind of solution for the manual application testing, and it will also help you to save a lot of time, as we mentioned, like almost 200% of the time when you are doing a normal functional testing of your application. And I'm not just talking here, I'm not just giving you a theoretical uh, lecture here, but we are going to see it practically how it happens. So what I'll do is I'll quickly go to the device.pcloudy.com, and I will open the uh, screen here. Just give me a second. I think yes, I'll go here and select the screen of monitor one. So you can see here now the dashboard. Okay, so I have to log in. This is the URL from where you can log in once you register with pCloudy. I'm just logging it to device.pcloudy.com. It takes a while to log in there. So just be on a. All right, so this is what the dashboard or the landing page will look like when the user registers and log in with pCloudy. All right, so for the benefit of for all, what I will do is I'll quickly, uh, connect to a single device, just to tell you if some of you are not aware how to use a real physical device remotely to do a manual testing. So I'll just connect to one device, I'll just install an application on that, and maybe I'll just show you what are all things you can do with such kind of platform, or typically with pCloudy. So I'm just connecting to Google Pixel. So here you can see the list of devices which are actually available on the cloud. So you can connect to any of these device of your choice, and do the manual testing on those devices. So I'm just connecting to Google Pixel, which has OS version 7.1.1. I just clicked on connect, and this is the intermediate connecting page, and this is typically the device interaction page where you can see the device in the center. Now don't get confused, this is not an emulator or simulator, this is a real device. And the device, this particular device, is hosted in India, and it's available over the cloud. So I have just connected to this device, and I'm interacting with the device the way you interact with the device with the phone in hand, with your finger. So instead of finger touch gestures, I'm using the mouse touch gesture. So I'm just moving my mouse on the phone, it turns into small X, and I'm just dragging the screen up. I'm just coming it down and looking, browsing through the applications. I'm clicking on the home screen, it's going back. So you can see this is a normal way of interacting with the device. All these features which you are seeing on the left hand side and the right hand side, these are the features which are bringing in a lot of value to your testing when you are doing a normal functional testing. So there is an install button here. We do have a cloud space where you have to upload the applications which are under test. I have already uploaded certain applications in my cloud space, from where I'll be using an application to install. So I'm just clicking on install button here, and this is the cloud space where I have already installed a lot of applications. So I can go and browse through this. Let me see if I have something called. Okay, so I have one application called Delta. So I'm just using that application. I say install. Once I say install, the application will start getting installed on the device by the platform, and then it will be open, so you can start doing the testing on that. You can also install the application from direct from Play Store, or if you have any different mechanism, through hockey or something, you can also do through that. So all the three possibilities are available at pCloudy. So let's say I'm installing the application. The application got installed. You can see the application um, launched on the device. Now, the first and the foremost screen here is this one, where if I have to get in, I have to actually tick this particular mark, which is on the top right corner. So I'm just clicking this once, and you see the application is gone to the next screen where it is asking me to either sign up, log in, or continue as a guest. So I'll continue as a guest. But when you are doing this, when you are doing a manual testing at pCloudy, we also have certain other features wherein you can actually see the logs. You can monitor the logs next to the device by clicking this log button. Click on this streaming button here, and the color coded log will start appearing it here, which you can monitor while doing testing. At the same time, let's say if I don't want to get distracted looking at the logs, I can always stop this, I can always close this, clear this pane here. And the second big value add which we have here is analysis. So if I click on analysis, I have to select the application. So I need to click on this icon to select the application which I have installed. So let's say Delta, I want to monitor the performance, and say select. So here we will be showing you the memory usage, memory pattern, how much memory is consumed by this application on the screen, what is the CPU consumption, what is the network consumption, what is the download and upload data. Below that we are showing you the battery consumption by the application, what's the battery consumption by the application, what's the battery consumption by device, and the battery consumption in terms of percentage with the device and application. So all this vital information is actually provided to you next to the device if you're opting for that. So this is a big value add which I'm talking about. Now I'm just clicking on the screen to say continue as a guest, going this way, and I'm selecting, I'm saying, let's say I want something from New York and to Boston. Okay, so I'm actually showing this for the benefit of all, and at the same time the same application and the same workflow I would be showing you in the 3x uh, faster. How can you do it on multiple devices? So it's please be with me for some time. So I'm just choosing the dates for my return journey, and I say apply, and I click on find flights. So you can see now I have actually given my criteria and say look or search the flights, and the application has given me the flights. So this is a simple application flow. One can actually test their applications based on their functional flow. Okay, now apart from this we have a lot of other applications features which will help you to expedite your testing and bring a lot of value. Certainly this webinar is not for that particular thing, so I'll not go through each and everything, but just to name some, we have a location, so you can give a mock location to the device and the application of your choice. You can also do the network simulation testing by using this network features. You can simulate different network conditions to see how your application behaves, when you are changing the network capabilities. You can also capture screenshots in case there is some issue on this. I can actually capture a screenshot. That screenshot will start appearing it here, which you can download, delete, or edit, and it's 1:1 pixel screenshot with the skin of the device. And if I just click on edit, you can just you can edit it by clicking this edit button. You can change the font width, size, color, and you can maybe just mark it saying this is not as per as I expected, right? I can just save it with whatever name I want, maybe edited uh, image, and confirm save, and the edited things will come here. If you are using Jira by any chance to log the defects and bug tracking tool, you have to log into your Jira account through pCloudy, and then straight away you can create the bug within your Jira by clicking this button here. You can simply create the choose the appropriate project, issue type. You can put the summary description, and then you say okay, I want to add logs, and attach the screenshot. So once you click on screenshots, all the screenshots which you have captured, edited, everything will start appearing it here. You can choose the one which is uh, relevant to this particular defect, and then uh, click on log a bug. So this way, the close integration with the Jira is also done. So I don't want to spend a lot of time on this, but you have seen now how I'm actually testing a specific application on one device, right? This is what I wanted to showcase here. Showcase you here. So I'll just release this device. Now I'm done with my testing. So once you are done with your testing, you can always release and say yes. The device will be released back to the cloud. Now coming to the uh, main agenda of this webinar today is how can I achieve 3x faster speed, or how can I save my time for doing a manual while doing manual testing on multiple devices. So we have a feature, as I was mentioned in the as I was mentioning in the earlier slide, was follow me. So I just need to go to follow me. Now you can see here the very first step, it says application APK, instrumented APK. So basically you have to upload the file. I'll open one more tab here so you can quickly see the cloud drive which I was talking about a minute back. So this is the my app data cloud space where you can upload. You can just say upload the file from your local system, and that particular file will start appearing it here. Now any APK file, when you are actually uploading, we have a button here which says APK instrument. So you can actually click this button and we will instrument your APK. That APK will start appearing it here in the same thing. After the instrumentation, we will save in the same slot here. So if I just show you Delta application, I have already done that for you. So we have, this is the original application and this is the instrumented application, right? So I'm going to use this particular application for my demonstration here. Okay, so you just need to come to follow me and choose the application which is under test. I go here and look for Delta application, the instrumented one. So select. I can go and choose the time which is required for me to do the desired testing. Maybe I'm choosing something around 30 minutes. All these numbers are in minutes, and say next. Now the next step is you will get the list of devices which we have on the cloud, right? So I can go through and I can browse through these devices and look for any specific device of my choice which I'm actually looking for. So let me just go and select a device here for my testing. Maybe I will take yeah, this is the only challenge right now here is it's a small window. So if you are looking for a specific device, you have to be really careful here. These filters, we will enable it. Now, this particular feature which I'm showing is still on a closed beta group. So, you may not see this feature on device.pcloudy.com, but if you're really interested in this particular feature, just let us know and we will actually add you to that closed beta group, so you can use this and you can make your hands dirty on with this feature. Okay, so I was actually looking for Note 8 because it's a very high-end phone, so I thought I can use that, but I believe that that particular device is in use by some other user. So let me see if I can take something else from Samsung, because I just wanted to take three different devices from three different brands, to show you how it works on different devices. So, okay, let's take then in that case S6 Edge. Okay, I'm just taking S6 Edge here. Now I'm just coming down and I'm going to let's say I get something from Motorola. Uh, let's take E4 Plus. So I have selected two devices so far. Now I have liberty to choose one more device, because you can see here it says you can select maximum three devices. So I'm going and selecting, let's say, something from LG. Maybe let's take 5X. Okay, so I have taken three devices. So whatever you have selected, you can see it from this view window here. You just click on this and you can see all these three devices which you have chosen will be available here, right? So you click on next. Now, this particular step is asking you to select one device as a master device. So I'm just selecting this link here, and let's say S6 as a master. So I've just set S6. You can see that S6H is selected as master, and rest of the two devices are still there. And I say start session. Now you can see the same connecting screen which you have seen for the manual testing at pCloudy, and you will be taken to the next screen, which typically we call as multi-view screen. Okay, now since this feature is in beta, most of the features which we have seen some time back are actually not enabled. Only the screenshot feature, the zoom and soft keys are enabled. But you can see now here the device which we have selected as a master is appearing here in this main pane, and rest of the two devices which we have chosen are actually rendered on the right hand side here in a view called multi-view, and the platform is installing the application on the device. Now you see the application is the installation of the application is started at the same time on all the three devices by the platform. Now, based on the capabilities of the device, be it software or hardware capability, the installation time is taking different time. The installation of the application is taking different times there. So you can see Samsung S6H has got the application installed very quickly. Then the second device, which is basically LG Nexus, and the last one is Moto E4. Maybe I think Moto E4 has less capabilities there. Now you see that these all three devices are on the same screen. The same application which I have installed, which I have given, is installed on all the three devices at the same time. Now the real part of it. Now I will not be testing this application on all the three devices. I'll be rather testing my application only on one device, which is actually in the main pane here, main window here. So I'm just clicking on this uh, click tick mark, which we have done even in the manual testing of single device. But see what happens when I am actually doing that. When I'm doing that, the rest of the two devices which are on the right hand side will start following the primary device, the master device. Okay, I have got bad speed today, so it may take a little longer time, but it should not take so long if you have good speed. So because of a lot of packet loss or the bandwidth issue, you have seen a black screen over here. There was a disconnect happened to the device, but yeah, it will still go on. Let me just click on the continue as a guest here. I have clicked on continue as a guest. I've come to the next screen here, and these two devices are also actually reconnecting. So let's see. Yeah, so you would have noticed now, because the screens were gone blank, you did not see the transition happening. Uh, the screen has changed, synced to this particular screen. But let's say I go back to the same screen. So I'm just clicking on the top right corner here to bring the options, and then I'm clicking on login. So you see the actions which I'm doing is getting performed on the rest of the two devices, and the rest of the two devices are following this device. So now I'm again going and clicking continue as a guest, and on the rest of the two devices also it has gone into the next screen. I'm clicking on from, and I'm entering again, let's say New York, the one which we have done some time back. I'm clicking New York airport, then I'm going to the to field. I am selecting maybe Boston, and I've selected Boston. So you can see the same actions are getting performed on rest of the two devices. So I'm just doing the testing on one device. It is getting tested on two devices other than this. And I can actually visually see whether everything is happening fine. If I'm seeing some issue on this device, for example, I can actually click on this plus button and see, oh, the screen is correct, or are there any changes as per this screen. And if there is some change in this screen, I can just click on screenshot. I'll capture the screenshot for all the devices, and it will be available in the reports folder. So this way I can do the testing, I can do the visual testing, I can do the functional testing, and the ad hoc testing, corner testing, everything I can do it with this particular feature. And I'm saving a lot of time. So I'm just clicking on the dates here, And when I click on the dates, let's say I'm selecting 29th, and 6 is the return journey, because uh, I have selected return by default as the journey here. And then I'm clicking apply. The same dates will be taken by rest of the two devices. And when I click on book flight, on all the three devices, the flight results will be displayed. So this way you can actually do the testing on one device, and rest of the two devices will start following. So I'm pretty sure with this, your testing speed has will be increased to 3x. Your testing efforts, the time required for finishing a specific test cycle will reduce by 2x. And yeah, this is all about it. Let's say I want to take a screenshot of all the devices at this particular stage, or let's say I'm clicking on this and I wanted to take the screenshot now, and I'm just clicking on the screenshot. So we will be capturing a screenshot. You can see the message over here. That screenshot will not be shown in this view because we are on a multi-view. The transition between this is really tough, so we are not done yet that part. But yes, the screenshot is captured and it will be available in the reports folder. So these are the things I wanted to showcase you here from the manual testing on multiple devices point of view. So now I'm going to release this device at this moment. And when you release, actually we do the cleanup of your device. We actually uninstall the applications which you have installed. We reboot the device, and then only the device will be kept in the cloud. So the next user will not understand what the previous user has done or which application they have used. So let's move on to the reports folder to see how the reports are generated or what kind of reports you are seeing. So I just clicked on the reports, and then we have something called all reports. So I've just clicked on the all reports, and here you will be seeing the uh, reports for the multi-view. This is the test cycle multi-view online. And if I click on this action, it will actually open the multi-view test report. This will look something like this. It's a follow me test report. You can see you have selected three devices. One was master, two was slaves, and this is a consolidated report. So you can see each device here. Now I can go and click on any of the device where I want to see how the testing was done. So let's say I'm clicking on master device. So you can come here and see the individual report for each device. I'm seeing it here now. You can see the device details here, how much time it took to execute, when it started, when it stopped, what is the session name, and below that you have three areas where you can expand. One is the screenshot. So whatever screenshots you have captured during your testing will be available in the user snapshots, which you can download at any given point of time. Below that we have logs. So I have just expanded logs. The entire device logs will be available here, and towards the end we have videos. So basically we will have one single video here, but since the device got disconnected for a while, we have two videos in continuation. This is something which we'll be fixing in the next release, where you will see, irrespective whether the device is connected or not, whether it is disconnected or not, we will have a single video. But you can always download these videos and consume that to see what exactly you have done in your given session. So this is a few more advantages which we are bringing in. We are providing you the logs without you asking. We are providing you the video for your session, so you can always see what exactly you have done throughout your life cycle, test life cycle. And of course the screenshots, if you have captured, will be available there. So this typical information will be provided to you by default by pCloudy. The application performance data which you have seen on a single device, that's something which we are not capturing, but it will be a very heavy operations in the background if I have to do it for each user on three different devices at the same time. So we are not doing that. Maybe in the next release of follow me, it will also be available. So in the reports section, you can see what exactly is the memory, CPU, or battery consumption of your application data will be available here. So right now, whatever we are seeing or whatever we are showing you today is what will be released for the public very soon. Right now it's in beta. So if you are actually registering with pCloudy, you may come to this page. All the features and functionalities will be there, which you can use. But this follow me is something which will not be seen to you because it is released only to specific selected customers in the closed beta way. In case you are interested to have hands-on on this particular feature, please request us and we will add you as a uh, beta customer, and then you can start seeing this to explore more about this feature. So this is what I have to showcase you today from this webinar. What I will do is now we will move on to the slides where we have seen this, and let's go to the benefits, the last slide of this webinar. We are approaching towards the end of the webinar. So yeah, if you see the key benefits of this particular feature here, you can actually speed up the manual application testing because you are doing it only once on one device and it is getting repeated on two rest of the two devices. You can increase the test coverage because now you have more time to think about the devices. You can perform more within the same time frame, or even if you are spending 3 hours instead of 1 hour, you are actually touching upon all the corner cases. Visual verification becomes very easy because you are doing one specific action for a specific uh, use case, and the same use case at the same time is seen on three different devices. So if you are using a different screen sizes or so, visually you can quickly check how my application is looking on different maybe different resolution devices or different hardware configuration devices, how my application is seen. The last but not the least is, of course, you are reducing the cost because you are saving a lot of time of testing. You are saving a lot of testing efforts, and you are actually concentrating more on the corner cases, exploratory testing, or the areas which you have not thought of because of the time constraint, or it is not possible to automate. So, all in all, this is actually a conclusion towards the reduction of the cost. So these are the key benefits you will achieve if you are taking this approach of testing your application manually. So yeah, I believe it's a time for Q&A now. So we will open the uh, floor for question and answers. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer those questions. So yeah, by the way, you can we have free trials at pCloudy. So if you want to register with pCloudy, please use www.pcloudy.com. Register with us for free and start using pCloudy in case you want to do so. So let's move on to the questions. Okay, so we started getting questions here. First question is from Saurabh. He's asking, can I run the test on iOS devices as well? So Saurabh, to answer your question, no. This particular feature is available only for the Android platform as of now. iOS is in pipeline, but right now it is restricted only to iOS. Follow-up question by Saurabh again. If iOS is supported, can I choose can I choose iOS and Android in combination for those three devices? So the answer is no, of course, because we are not supporting the iOS as of now, Saurabh. But that will be a little difficult also. Even if we start supporting iOS, this particular scenario will be really difficult because for iOS and Android, the applications will also differ. For Android, it will be APK, and for iOS, it will be IPA. So that is practically not possible. I hope I have answered both of your questions, Saurabh. Okay, the next question is from Manjit. He's asking, can I use this feature to test web apps? Uh, Manjit, unfortunately, right now it is not supported for the web apps. This particular feature is supported only for the mobile native apps and hybrid apps. So if, as long as you are using a hybrid app or native app, you can use this, because you have to instrument the application before you start, and there is no way we can actually instrument your mobile web app. So that's one of the limitation as of now in the first release. Maybe upcoming releases we can think of mobile web apps. The next question is from Himanshu. Can I change the orientation of the device? Can I change the orientation of the device? And can I change the slave to master at runtime? So Himanshu, to answer your question, straightforward answer is no. Um, the two questions which you have asked: can I change the orientation of the device? So changing the orientation is one of the feature which we have, which you can actually use it while doing normal functional testing on one device. But all those features you would have seen, we have actually disabled for this particular release, because it's in beta right now. So all the features which we have is not supported here. We just have released the uh, screenshot feature, right? Rest of the features are not available right now, but soon we will start supporting rest of the other features. Okay, and to answer your second question, which is basically, can I change the slave to master at runtime? So again, this is not possible. There are certain restrictions as of now. Uh, this particular feature, if you really look at it, is something which none of my competitors or nobody has in the market as of now. To be very specific, we are the first who are coming up with this feature. It's very complicated to implement, and we have got a breakthrough. So at this stage, at the runtime, you cannot do it, but before starting, you can actually get the uh, you can set the device as a master, and then you can start using it. Runtime changing the master is not supported, and maybe in the next releases we can think about this. We already have this requirement in our backlog, but yeah, today it is not there. The next question is from Manish. Uh, Okay, this is more of a performance related question Manish has asked here. I have seen the slowness in other devices, meaning it is taking long time to follow on other devices. Is it the feature, or there will be an improvement? So, Manish, if I understood your questions correctly, you're saying that you have seen a little lag or latency to follow two devices with the master device, right? So it's not a feature by itself. We expect that, whatever action you are doing in the master, you should appear on the slaves immediately, and that's how we started with. That's how it works in our local setup. But when it comes on internet, because of the network latency and the feature itself is in beta, so there is some more improvement needs to be done, which we are anyways doing it. That's the reason it is still in beta. But yeah, eventually when you'll start doing the testing, you will see that the moment you perform any action on the uh, master device, will start appearing it on the slaves immediately. Now, there is a small catch to it here. The actions will be given to the slaves immediately the moment you actually perform it on the master, but the response time on each device may vary depending on the hardware and the software capabilities of that particular hardware or the device. So that's something which we have to anyways keep it in mind. In fact, while you are doing this, you can also compare in one single shot that the because of the hardware or the software configuration of a specific device, this device is little slow as compared to rest of the device. Because you would have also noticed one thing there: when I started the flow, I have installed the application. The platform has installed the application on all the three devices at the same time from the backend, but the application got installed on S6 age first, because it's a very high performance phone, it got installed on that first, then it got installed on LG Nexus, and towards the end on Moto. So if you see the hardware configuration and the software configuration of these devices, typically the hardware part, the S6 Edge is pretty fast as compared to rest of the two devices. So this kind of information can also be gathered. These are all analytics which you can use it for your test results. I mean, I know the answer was a little long, but I hope I have answered your question. Now there are three more questions, but unfortunately, those all the three questions by Seema, Hariharan, and Mr. Gangadhar are asking the same question, but the answer for that question is already uh, uh, given very much in the beginning. They are also asking that is it possible to do the or use this feature for the iOS device? So I'm sorry, I think I have already answered this question. If you have missed the answer, we do not have the iOS support as of now for this particular feature. But yeah, soon it will come, and we will anyway keep updated to all our customers the moment it is available in the platform. So we are actually approaching towards the end. Let me see if there are a few more questions here, and can I take up the last question for today? Yeah, there are few more questions available here. So let me take the last question for the webinar today. Uh, the question is from Mr. Vinod. He's asking, yeah, so Vinod is saying that, is it possible to use the Jira feature through multi-view? So Vinod, I'm not very sure whether you are already a user of pCloudy or not, but Jira feature is already there, yeah, pre-integrated with pCloudy for the individual single device testing, which we have also demonstrated here. But as I was explaining to one of the attendee here, saying, all the features are not integrated as of now. So Jira feature is also something which is not integrated here. So the primary reason we have not integrated here is because we have to probably change the UI of this multi-view thing, because we are not able to we don't get enough space on the browser to show all these things. So that's the only constraint we have from the Jira point of view. But for rest of the features, we have to really work hard from the backend. But yeah, Jira thing will be the first thing which will be pushed to this particular feature once we uh, get some space on the browser. Okay, so we still have 1 more minute, and I'll take one more last question for this webinar. And this question is from Mr. Gaganit. He's asking, is there any technical limit to have three devices at a single time? I mean, can I test more devices instead of just two as a slaves? So to answer your question, Gagnit, there is no technical challenge as such. We can have actually 5 or 8 or 10 devices to be followed by the followed with master. But as I was explaining to Vinod, the practical challenge right now we have is the space on the browser. So once we start creating a new UI, once we'll start throwing a new UI for this feature, maybe we will address this concern, and we can change this 3 device limit to 5 devices, and you can save uh, almost 400% of your time. Thank you so much for your participation, all of you. I hope this webinar is useful for you, and I'm pretty sure that you will start using this feature very soon at pCloudy. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye.